Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Yes, we still exist. We're still around. We took a bit of a hiatus. I took a bit of a hiatus during the summer, and it's been interesting. It's been an interesting summer, but kind of back slowly, low key back. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming over the next couple of weeks and months as we get ready for the new season. But before all that, the final game of this season, technically speaking, this international season anyway, the European Championship finals. And to discuss that with me, we've got Knayha back on the show. Knayha, welcome back again.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks for having me, and thanks that you're doing this finally.
Yeah, no, finally, right for the final. Finally for the final.
Yes, exactly.
That's
finally for the final. Well, it's coming home or it's going to Rome. So you had something.
Yes, well, that's a nice one. It's coming home or it's going to Rome. I don't know which way it's going. But let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's start with Italy. For my money, Italy have been the best team in the Euros. I that's my personal opinion. I don't know, people might disagree, but I think they've been really amazing. I've been a bit surprised because I did hear about Italy doing well in the lead up to the Euros, but I didn't expect them to do so well, like get to the final. But they really have been good, and I mean, credit to Mancini for revitalizing the team.
Exactly. I think that's exactly the sentence. Like you didn't expect them, and then some Mancini has kind of quietly done something. And when you see them on the pitch now, they're very confident. They're like unbeatable. Like that's the mentality. Like okay, they did goals as well, but then eventually they're like, we can get through this. The squad selection, the way they're playing, they kind of the link up. Everyone is kind of going about. It's been really nice to see that actually, because we all know what happened last time they played the World Cups and so on, and qualifying and group stages, knockouts and so on. So it was really bad. But then now going on a 33 match unbeaten streak, I think
that 33 matches,
33 or 34 somewhere there, and then just kind of continuing, and they still have the hunger. I think it's all kudos to I would say Mancini, and of course the key players like for them have been kind of the defense, the Chiellini, Bonucci have been really strong, rock solid. They've found some mojo, I would say, because last World Cup you saw them and you were like, okay, why are they still playing? Does Italy not have good, young good defenders or so on and so forth? But then they've proven themselves. They've worked hard. Mancini is going to work really hard with them, I guess. He's done something amazing. So it's been a surprise actually that Italy were that good when the Euros even started. We were just hearing them. We were just watching them because friendlies and when they're qualifying, you don't really play the top teams. But then playing them and then you suddenly realize, oh, they're playing really good. So that was nice.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to turn my phone off so we don't get disrupted again. But I just keep forgetting to put my phone on silent. But yes, that is absolutely correct. I think that the key has been Chiellini and Bonucci in the defense, but they've also changed the midfield. Actually, no, I'm just trying to think what was the difference from the World Cup, because they didn't qualify for the World Cup. They've now qualified for the Euros. I'm just trying to think what were the differences between the two teams. I can't think of too much. I mean, Buffon probably retired. But Insigne has been around, Verratti has been around. Fair enough, they've added Chiesa, who probably didn't play in the last as much as a key player. But there's no difference. I think it's the manager that's made the difference, hasn't it? The style that they've got rid of the back three, which I think is a good thing now. They play a 4-3-3, which is obviously the way forward for them. And they're getting the best out of Immobile, which is great. I mean, there's always question marks on Immobile. He's the leading scorer of Serie A, but people always say that he's got a touch worse than Lukaku. So I don't know how true that is, but that's interesting anyway. But let's talk about England. I think we're talking about Italy. We should talk about Italy and about England. And so I'm just getting a message from our other guest who's not going to be able to make it, which is fine. But let's talk about the perpetually in crisis and yet not in crisis England. I mean, the thing about England is you just don't know what you get because they've used so many different players in so many different positions. But they were in the easier part of the draw. I don't think Ukraine and Denmark are the kind of teams you hope to be playing you hope to be playing them, but you don't expect to be playing them in a quarterfinal and a semi-final. Is it lucky England, or is it like? No, this is different. This is a good England.
I don't see them to be lucky because you can go back and talk about penalty decisions like last one as well. Sterling, was it a dive?
It was a dive. Was it a dive? No, was a dive.
See,
Yeah.
let's be like, let's say that they have been on the wrong end of those decisions as well.
Yeah.
They have been on the wrong end, then they've been on the right end of some, and so it's all about what happens in a game. It's a moment.
Yeah.
But what I've felt like the Germany game, like that was the game where basically everybody thought like, this is because everybody knew that the draw after that was going to be very easy.
Yeah.
So I think that Germany game was a key. I think all the players, even after the match, the post match interview, even Gareth Southgate was like, this was the game that we had, or we prepared for this like mentally so hard that we had to win this. Like we had to, and when they kind of came, you could just see by the celebration as well. They didn't celebrate too much with Ukraine, but yeah, of course, when they reached the finals against Denmark, they just went mental again. But then that was a moment of night, a penalty last moment, and just going through, because you really don't know what happens in penalties and so on and so forth. But then I think that was a moment where they kind of in Germany was a moment where they kind of felt they believed more, because England has had this kind of really bad reputation of flowing through games like easy past the simple team, and then suddenly you a Germany or a Spain or a Portugal, and then suddenly they're gone. They're like, okay, who are we playing? What's happening here? We have no idea. But then I think Gareth Southgate needs to be commended a lot with this squad. Also, the selections. I think he's made some really, really bold moves here. Like, I'm
You
like,
say bold, some might say bizarre, but okay.
yeah,
It's
I would
bold
say
because it's worked, but sometimes
yes,
bizarre,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah, but it was crazy. Like, I still don't understand how Grealish doesn't start games, and that's still. But then playing Saka and Sterling, like I still get frustrated watching Sterling.
Yeah.
Like, why is that
Everybody
guy
does.
still? I'm like, why is he still? And the way he kind of he still misses chances. Like he
Yeah.
still misses chances, and then suddenly you're like, why do you have, you have really good players on the bench who can kind of finish this game and in those moments. But then he trusts him. He has paid him back with the assists and everything to Kane and so on. But then yeah, I think Gareth Southgate does deserve a lot of credit here.
Yeah.
He's pulled up a lot of problems that they've had previously, like in the defense, like they're choking the defense, like just don't know where to pass. Suddenly, kind of going into a really bad overdrive of thoughts, like, okay, let's pass here, let's make it more complex rather than more simple. But he has players who can just change the momentum in a moment as well. Now he knows this, like he can get a Grealish on and he knows what he can expect. He's just going to go straight into them and find something. And then he has Mount, he has Saka, he has Sterling, he has
Sancho.
Kane, and so many players.
Yeah.
So and it just gives. So I think that has, and also I feel that this was the first time the attention that they generally have. I don't know. I just felt like the attention that the general England team has on each player, like, okay, how is he doing? They had an issue. I think they've managed that part, because if you remember the start of the tournament, there was an issue that Grealish is kind of the statements he made around like, why you put me on the pitch and I'll prove everybody wrong and so on and so forth. I don't know if that was true or something made up. I really don't know. But then that's how it starts. Like that's how it kind of starts and spirals, and kind of the whole team fizzles out.
Yeah.
Then this time it's been pretty solid, rock solid. They have Phillips as well on central defense, Declan Rice, who's kind of showed and given them support. Luke Shaw is kind of playing, I don't know, his best football ever. I don't know what's happened. He's up in the 6-yard box like every time I see him. Like, what is Luke Shaw doing there? But it's been pretty nice.
Yeah, I think this probably is England's most technically talented generation since 1966. Overall, there might have been better players that have come along for England, but I think technically, this is probably the best team that they have, like technical skills wise, technical
Yeah.
attributes. I think that's probably the best that they've had since 1966. Players good on the ball, players who can keep the ball, players who know how to pass. They've got all that, and I think that's really good. And also, I think on Southgate, the point is playing Rice and Phillips together, or playing Henderson, or any two of Henderson, Rice, and Phillips gets a little bit of stick, but I think it's actually worked out well for them in this
Yeah.
tournament, in the way that they played. So, in some ways, yes, it's good for the manager to back himself and to back his convictions and not be so, haphazard. So, I think that's worked out well for Southgate. Will it work in the final? We do. I don't know, but we'll try to do a preview now for the final. We'll look at the teams. Let's start with Italy. And I think the team pretty much picks itself. I don't think there's too many
Yeah.
changes that you would make. The only question is who plays left back because Spinazzola is out. So do you play Emerson or do you do what Mancini did in the second half where he brought on Toloi and he played
Yeah.
Di Lorenzo on the left hand side? Do you do that, or I mean, it's got to be Emerson for me. But
Yeah.
how many games has he played? It's a question, hasn't it, for Chelsea? But you probably want to go with
I think he'll go with the team that's kind of I simply, as you said, it's going to set himself. The team, he's not going to change the squad too much because that's what worked for him as well in the last games. So he knows, how the team is taking. And if you see, England is going to press a lot, and they're going to press. They have attacking players. They're going to press a lot, and he needs the experience. Eventually, you want somebody who has experience as well. So you go with Di Lorenzo on the left and Emerson on the right, and then Bonucci and Chiellini in the middle.
Oh no, Emerson will play left. Di Lorenzo plays right.
Yes, the opposite way. Yeah. So that's that. So he will keep the same shape. He will keep the same way he kind of played against Spain as well. And changes in the game could be tactical, just to kind of freshen it up, get somebody. But what I'm mostly interested with Italy, because the defense has been rock solid. So defense-wise, they've kind of been very set. Only just to kind of add some, more tactics to the game. He just kind of added that change, which he did with Spain, which was kind of strange to me. I was like, why is this happening? But then generally, the football has now become more technical about, the crosses that you, the right from the left, you can put through a right-footed player. And so that's been the challenge, and that's been a difference as well.
I think it's more fitness because Emerson hasn't played much for Chelsea this season. Expect him to play 90 minutes or 120 against in a semi-final is a lot to ask of him. But I think that makes sense. Speaking of experience, okay, I mean, we talked about the team selecting itself. Chiesa, he scored a good goal, but aside from the goal, he really didn't do anything much against Spain. So do you go with him because he's got that ability to do something, or do you start Berardi? At the moment, it looks like Chiesa is probably the one starting, but would you go with Berardi?
I think Chiesa starts. You want to back the one who scored the goal because, okay, go do it again, go do it or something. So I think and the best part about the Italy team is about that they have so much young talent on the bench. Berardi can come in immediately. He has an impact. He's like a very impactful player then and there itself. So it just changes itself. He's somebody who kind of just runs, who can just change the game in a moment, and also feel that I feel that that gives Mancini a little more option. But Chiesa has kind of been a very, I don't know, he's been a goal scorer for them. I think he's
an impact player.
The impact player, because the whole team focuses on Immobile and Insigne, because then you can't give them space. You give them space, they're just going to be you're going to break you up. That is the player that kind of that's kind of the trump, the horse that they have, the black horse that they can play anytime. They've played with Verratti there. They've also played with Belotti has started some games there as well. So they've had some nice changes and nice options as well. But for me, I think it's Chiesa starts.
Yeah. I guess they'll look at Berardi, Belotti, and Locatelli to come off the bench maybe. If they need to make any changes, those will be probably the ones. And then, of course, they've still got 2 or 3 more, depending on how long the game goes, because that's how many changes we can make these days. That's interesting. I mean, Italy selects itself. England, I mean, again, pretty much selects itself. I don't think you're going to... I mean, the questions would be, do you start... I mean, Walker's got to start. I don't think you can now bring Trippier or James in. That would be too much to change. I think the back 5 pretty much selects itself. Well, actually, yes, that's the question. Do you go with the back 3 or do you go with the back 5? Because... I mean, do you go with the back? Because history suggests that Gareth Southgate might think of a back 5, and then that probably means he might bring in Trippier for Saka. That would be the obvious change to make. Or do you stick with the 4-2-3-1 that has worked for you? Because he did play a back 5 against Germany, if I'm not mistaken. He did.
That's what works. So I think
Yeah, so my thinking is he's probably going to go to a back 5, only to counter the front 3 that Italy have, because there's a lot of pace in that front 3. And England don't have a lot of pace in their defense, so they
Yeah.
probably that's just the thing, right? They probably would go with the back five and bring in Trippier for Saka. Would you do that if you get Southgate, or do you think you'd stick with what's worked for you 4-2-3-1?
No, I think he has to get in the back five, in my opinion, because it's the finals. You can't, if he has, he can be aggressive, but he has to be thoughtful as well. It can't be like the match finishes in the first half because you didn't start five. There'll be tired legs across both teams. They'll be tired. Like this is the last game. Everybody knows it's vacation after this, so there's no, and then everybody's kind of going to go all guns blazing. But then you have to be tactical here. Like how much pressure do you take in the first half? England has also been lucky because there have been a lot of chances that's missed against them because teams have broken up their defense. It's not that it's not scored. It's that that's the only positive that they've had. People have not been able to score against them, but they have broken the defense down behind them and the through balls and so on. So with the pace that they have, and also I think if when they play, because Chiesa generally is the fourth. He's right there. Like they play with almost a four forward line. Italy generally with a three already there, and Chiesa joining them, and also Verratti somewhere kind of slotting himself in between. So there will be because that's the pressure. That's how they work. That they know that the defense does not have that much pace, but then that's something that Italy would definitely exploit. Starting with the five just gives us a little more cushion for the first half. And what I see is England is going to play counter. That's it. That's how they're going to play. That's the game they'll go with. They're just going to play counter. They're just going to wait for that one ball coming for Sterling running and then Kane providing or something. That's how the game will kind of move ahead. But I think that's how the first half plays out. But then it depends on the second half. Like where do we stand on the score line? If it's 0-0, you continue with that and you start making changes at kind of the 88th minute because you're thinking tired legs, 120 now. You're already targeting that, and then penalties as well. So I think that's how it goes. But so they start with five in my opinion. I think Trippier does.
It will be a 3-4-3. So the question is who's going to be the three. Now Kane and Sterling select themselves. I was thinking maybe Saka will come off and Trippier will come in, but you then also got Mason Mount. So do you put Mason Mount as a winger? Do you bring in Saka, or do you bring in Jack Grealish because you want to hold on to the ball if you're going to play on the counter? Do you bring in Jack Grealish, or do you bring in Jadon Sancho because he can play on the right, Jack Grealish plays on the left, right? So there's that. I think it's safe to say Jadon Sancho probably won't start at this point.
No,
I don't think so. So and I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know if Grealish is really the guy that they will go with. So, but I guess it's between three. You've got Saka, Grealish, or Mount. What those three. Conventional wisdom suggests it will probably be Mason Mount, but Saka didn't have a bad game, so
it has to be Mount. There is no way. There's no, because the problem with Grealish is that he's amazing with the ball, but then when he loses it, he just kind of I don't know what happens to him. He kind of snaps out of it, and he's like, "Why did I lose the ball?" And he's just suddenly facing the wrong way, and the ball is in the wrong way. So that just kind of doesn't help at all, and also just makes it very difficult because you can't expect Kane to kind of go back, support, and then also kind of if there's a counter come back. So I think Mount just is at right. He has those right tactics. He knows exactly how much he can press. Obviously he can hold the ball as well, and he can put in the pass and also move quickly. But then Saka, I don't know. It's the Mount Saka dilemma. I think it just
pace, or do you need pace, or do you need more control? I guess
exactly. That's the main question. Is that because you have Kane who can hold the ball. Okay, but you have Kane. Sterling can't hold the ball. Everybody knows that Sterling. He's pacey. He can do a 1-2 and just kind of be off, and you're just kind of catching your breath to catch him. But then Saka gives you the same thing. So do you go for somebody to support Kane, or do you go with somebody to support Sterling? Because if Sterling is holding the ball and Saka makes the run, Kane is still free. But then the opposite way is like if you're countering, you only have Sterling running. So which one do you choose? So I think that's one of the questions that is the main on the top front. But I think in my opinion, he will go safe. I think England will go safe.
Yeah.
Gareth Southgate has he has made bold moves, decisions in the game, substitutions and so on and so forth. but his squad selection has been pretty consistent. He has not changed that side that much. He gave us, the starts have been very consistent. He's made substitutions a little differently than people would have expected, but his starts have been very consistent. So I think for me, Mount starts. Mount will be there.
Yeah. Conventional wisdom suggests it will be Mason Mount, but we shall see. That will be the decision that might decide the final as well. We will know more on the day. Saka does offer a bit of defensive cover as well because he is technically also a wing back. So, but anyway, and I'm sure that factors into Southgate's decisions as well. But anyway, a score prediction. Knayha, what do you think? What do you think is going to be the score? Who's going to win this one?
So last time when England actually won the World Cup in 1966, it was in Wembley. So that's and the score was 4-2. It's not going to be that high scoring.
Well, it was after extra time, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4-2. So
yeah, it was a long game. It was a very long game.
Mm-hmm.
They have the home advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It will be crazy and mental if they score the first goal. I think that's what they just want. They just don't want. If they concede the goal, the whole mood goes out in that stadium. It's just going to be like dead on arrival. Basically, they don't have. It's going to be difficult to come back from that. So, I would say it's a 1-0 to England.
Okay.
They'll kind of put it out and they'll just kind of fold. They'll just go. Yeah. It's good. I think that's going to happen. And this it'll be Harry Kane scores. In my opinion. So yeah, it's a 1-0.
Will it be a penalty after Sterling dives, or will it be an open play? I'm kidding. Don't answer that one. Do not answer that one. That's a bold prediction. It's a very bold prediction. I would say 1-0 to England. That's very bold, but maybe it might happen. I think it will be 3-1 to Italy. And I think what will happen is it will be 1-0 to England. England will take the lead, and then they'll lose their heads because they'll think that they've won. And just like against Croatia and against other teams, they'll probably just concede a goal, and then that's it. It'll all just fall apart after that. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's then going. It's not coming home. It's going to Rome then. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel that Italy have been the best team in the tournament. I think they deserve this tournament. And it'll be nice. I mean, sentimentally, it'd be nice to see Chiellini win an international tournament to sort of cap off his career. He's never won an international tournament. He's not won the Champions League or anything of that sort. So it'd be nice for him to win this and retire. This will probably.
But the whole country has never of England has never won.
Well, but they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money.
55 years and still waiting. So I agree with that point. I'm like, it's that's very possible. They do lose their head much in high pressure games. There's no doubt.
That's very likely. It's what's going to happen. They're going to lead, and at some point they will start going deeper and deeper and deeper. Italy will score, and then after that, it's all like, anyway, we shall see.
Also, looking at how Pickford's pass on the for the ball was like.
Jordan Pickford. Yeah, I think that's going to be a key question as well. How will he handle the pressure? It's his first ever. I think this is his first ever major final. I don't think he's ever played in a final at all ever before. So not for Everton. I don't think Everton have made a final. So
no,
or Sunderland for that matter. So yeah, this will be his first big final, and we'll see how he copes with that. And whether he can, put aside his Pickfordness and do what needs to be done. But yes, I think goalkeeper is a key point, isn't it? Because Italy have got Donnarumma, who's really good, and then you've got Pickford, who's probably not so good. But anyway, it'll be an interesting final. It'll be a wonderful final. And let us know your predictions and your score lines. What do you think that this final score will be? Will it be Italy, as Knayha said, will it be coming home or will it be coming to Rome? That is the question that is going to be answered this Sunday. And it's going to be interesting. It's England's first final in 55 years. It's Italy's first final as well since their 2012 in 9 years, of course. And they've also, they did win the World Cup in 2006. So there's lots and lots of things to enjoy. And it's going to be a wonderful game. I mean, most finals usually are not wonderful games. So don't expect an exciting, score fest. But it will be a tactical game. If you're into that sort of thing, I think it'll be fantastic. And I always, it's going to be fun. But thank you so much, Knayha, for joining me. And I hope you enjoy the game. I hope you're able to watch it, and hopefully in some ways you're celebrating. You're not. I mean, it's the end. In one way, you will be celebrating because if you don't like international football, this is the end of that, and then we get back to the real business of playing, the Premier League, the club football stuff. So we'll have more transfer gossip and things that are coming along. But yes, but thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you're new, and do share in your comments. What do you think the game's going to be? Where do you think the game's going to be won, and where do you think it's going to be lost, and who do you think is going to win and lose? And also stay tuned to our Facebook and Twitter channels, because we'll have some exciting news coming along. As I said, we're sort of awakening from our slumber, so we're bringing the trivia competition back this year, which we did last year. It was it was fun. It was fun, at least for me. It was fun. I believe it was for a lot of you guys as well. So we're bringing it back, and we'll have more information on our social media channels. So follow that for information on that. So thank you, Knayha, for joining me,
Thanks for
and we'll see you
having me.
again very, very soon. Take care. Bye bye.